Hey Cloud Gamers, today I'm looking at Star Wars Squadrons, starting with a speed test here on Shadow PC and Maximum Settings 2080. Thank you very much to Maximum Settings for providing the code here, and we also have a giveaway for a Star Wars Squadrons code in our Discord. Check out the link in the description below if you see this before Monday the 10th of October. Well, into the speed test here then, with the Shadow PC starting up Squadrons first. I was a little bit delayed trying to find the Origin launcher on maximum settings, but you can see that it's catching up quite quickly. Hanging on that load screen then for the Squadrons launch. CPU obviously doing its job here. And maximum settings launching the game first there fully at 1:09. And Shadow finally launching the game there at 1:18. See the titles there at 1:36, and finally to the main game screen then, or maximum settings, at 1:48. Shadow PC lagging behind here on the main start, but not too far behind as it's starting to come through that main title sequence. And landing on the main screen there at 2:04. So just over 2 minutes startup time, bit longer than most here, but the game is worth it. As we move over to the graphics comparison then, I must say I am absolutely impressed with the optimization in this game. Shadow PC here is running on the high settings, and maximum settings 2080 on the right is running at ultra. However, I don't see a massive amount of difference between them, and even on high, Shadow PC here is pushing well over the 100 frames per second mark, most of the time in the high 100s, and you can see that 2080 here is actually running over 200. So as we have this side by side in one of the starter tutorial sections, it's very difficult to see the difference even in the cockpits or on the ships themselves as you're coming past. The quality of the graphics is just superb across the board here. As we're looking ahead, the shadowing and contrast is slightly better on maximum settings with those ultra settings, but it is really close to cool, and most of the time you are whizzing past stuff and it is very difficult to tell any difference. As we move into some single gameplay here of just the Shadow PC, as we come under the cruiser, everything is looking extremely crisp, and the rocks ahead just look stunning with those visual and light effects, and still pushing over 150 frames per second here. We find that we still are holding over 120 frames per second mark. And at 1920 by 1080 it is more than enough. See as those TIE fighters deploy and we start the dogfighting here. Still holding over 150 frames per second on the high settings, and you don't really have the time to stop and look at the small detail in these fighters. But it still looks stunning if you look in the distance as you are when you're not fighting. The detail on the rocks here and the lighting effects are absolutely brilliant. It's a visually stunning game and the gameplay is actually solid. As we move over to maximum settings then, with the 2080 Super and Ultra settings, it's very difficult to see much of a difference from the high on Shadow. Those frames per second still holding above the high 180s here, and still pushing into the 200 frames occasionally. Looking at the rock at the back, it does seem to have a few more lighting effects. And as we go into the dogfights here on the 2080, I think with the ultra settings those explosions are much more vibrant, and there does seem to be some more kind of particle effects on them. But otherwise it's looking absolutely stunning and is really crisp and clear. Even on those ultra settings, still pushing 180 plus frames per second. And it does make it a really smooth and satisfying experience in these dogfights. I'm using a PS4 controller, and it really does make me wish that I had got a joystick again or a flight stick. I haven't tried playing this on mouse and keyboard, but I can imagine it's going to be quite difficult. Controller is definitely the best option if you don't have a flight stick. And the 2080 Super here really doing this game justice. As we go back side by side with some dogfighting here at the Shadow PC and maximum settings, you'll see that intenseness building. I highly recommend this game. I've got EA Play Pro as well, so it's great to be able to pick up these sort of games without having to shell out a huge fee. Overall, this game is just absolutely stunning. It is a blast to play, and the main campaign story is really engaging. You've got lots to do, and it does flip you between the Empire and the Rebels as well, so you get to fly on both the X-Wings and also TIE Fighters. Multiplayer is great fun, with being absolute mayhem of TIE Fighters and X-Wings, and also other side missions as well. Highly recommend this game, and it plays absolutely fantastic on both Shadow PC and maximum settings. Let me know what you're going to be playing on in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all of the latest across all 5 gaming platforms, and I will see you next time.